And we are back on Sportsman Radio. I'm your host, Chris Schanfeld, and it's an honor to now be joined by former NFL tackle for the Cincinnati Bengals, who is an 11-time Pro Bowler and a current member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. He is Anthony Munoz. Thanks for joining the show today, Anthony. How's it going?
Great. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. Thanks for joining us today.
My pleasure. Looking forward to it.
Well, let's get right into it, man. I see you attended the University of Southern California, USC. Why did you decide to go there?
Well, I grew up 40 minutes from the campus there. It was always a childhood dream to go there. I tell people, I don't know if it was because of the tradition they had there in football or if it was because of Traveler, the big white horse with Tommy Trojan as he circled the field. But it was a dream of mine, not only to go there and play football, but I thought maybe I can go there and play football and baseball. So that was a dream of mine as a kid. When I got the opportunity, it was kind of a locked deal once they offered me a scholarship.
Yeah, we know you played football there, but as you said, you also played baseball there and was the pitcher for the USC National Championship team in 1978. Was there any time at all where you were thinking about maybe making a career in baseball instead of football?
Well, it's interesting because a lot of people don't realize that in my 4 years there I had 3 knee operations, and really the only season I didn't have one was my sophomore year, and that was the year I played baseball. So, after my second knee operation, my junior year, I said, man, maybe things would be a little easier on the baseball field. But no, it was one of those things where I still wanted to play baseball late in my college career, but I think like my sophomore, junior year on the football field, I kind of started believing that maybe I did have a future on the football field, even though I'd been injured quite a bit. So it was one of those things that, as much as I loved it, that being a childhood dream, I still kind of felt late in my college career that football was probably the direction I'd end up going.
All right, now I'm a senior in high school and just got accepted to the #1 school that was on my list, Columbia College Chicago, and I won't be attending USC, Anthony, but overall, how was your college experience there?
It was great. It's unbelievable. I've been out of college for 100 years now, and I think I would still do it all over again if I had the chance. If I was coming out of high school now to go there, my experience was so good. I mean, academically, it's a great school. I played for some great coaches. Just the experience I had there. A lot of people look at USC and think it's the state school, but it is a private school, so it's not a huge school. So you got to see a lot of the same people from different schools every day, which made it nice. I liked that more intimate setting. The campus wasn't huge, although it is in a pretty tough neighborhood. I mean, that really didn't matter to us. But yeah, it was a great experience for me, and I'm glad I made that decision.
Anthony, how does a 6'6" baseball pitcher turn into a 6'6" offensive lineman?
Well, there's a lot of times God gives you different gifts, and God gave me some gifts, but I had some great coaches. I mean, at USC, I had a great offensive line coach, Hudson Houck, who was teaching us things that were really on the cutting edge for offensive linemen. Back when I was in college and really coming out of college is when they were just starting to let us use our hands, full extension of arms, use our hands, and we were being taught all that at SC. Hudson Houck was a great teacher. In fact, he just retired from the NFL a couple years ago after spending probably close to 30 years in the NFL as one of the top guys. Then I get to Cincinnati and had another great line coach in Jim McNally. So, it was one of those things that people taught me what it meant to work hard, had some great teachers. I was hungry to learn, and you put all that together and mix it up in a big bowl, you get a chance to do some wonderful things. I'm thankful that I had that chance.
With the 3rd overall pick in the 1980 NFL Draft, the Cincinnati Bengals select Anthony Munoz, tackle out of USC. How was that moment like for you to be drafted into the NFL?
Well, it was really an emotional moment because my senior year at USC, I got hurt in the second series of first game. I had surgery. I missed the entire season, and I rehabilitated and played in the Rose Bowl, something a lot of people didn't think I could do, were advising me not to do because it eliminated a redshirt year. And I knew I didn't want to, come back for another year, and I didn't want to go to grad school. So I rehabbed. I played in the Rose Bowl. So the fact that I got drafted, a lot of people, a lot of publications, a lot of ranking systems, before the season had me going high. After I got hurt, there was a lot of questions. And the fact that I was drafted not only in the first first round, but for the third, by the third pick by the Bengals was amazing. I was very thankful. All I wanted was a chance to get to an NFL camp, and the fact that the Bengals selected me with the third pick. My wife and I both, we'd been married a couple years prior to that, and I was just thankful to get a chance to go to the NFL and give me an opportunity to prove that I could play on that level. So when I got drafted, it was one of those things, okay, now you set a new set of goals. And my goal was not only to be drafted by the third pick with the Bengals, but now I wanted to go in, I wanted to start, and right away I said, I want to play 10 years. That is my goal. I'm going to work my tail off, get my body to a point, after, really spending a lot of time in the weight room because of injury, I already built that foundation, so it just carried over. I had learned what it meant to work extremely hard. A lot of people taught me that, so I continued that. So there was a lot of things that were going through my mind, in addition to, really, wow, this is a great opportunity.
Anthony, when you were in the Bengals locker room and you seen the number 78 jersey with your last name on it for the first time, was it like a dream come true?
It was. It really was. I'll never forget, we played the Denver Broncos in my first preseason game. Of course, you get that number for, as a practice jersey, but, it really isn't the same as when you walk into the locker room game day and your number 78 with your name is hanging up in the locker. In practice, you have an unnamed jersey. It's just got your number on it, so that's pretty exciting to see the Bengal helmet as a practice player. But then when you see that, your full uniform hanging up in the locker, knowing that you're actually going to get dressed and go play in an NFL football game, it's just like, you just kind of pinch yourself. I pinch myself, make sure I was awake, and I was awake, but still living a dream.
You came into the NFL and started right away. You said that was one of your goals, was to start and play at least 10 years in the NFL. Did you know that once you were drafted that you would be a starter in your rookie season, or did you kind of have to impress the coaches in training camp and practice?
I never took anything for granted. When they drafted me, my whole mentality was, now I have to go earn a job. Even though I hadn't been in the league, I knew that you still had to perform. And that's basically, from Little League Baseball to, through high school and even college, you have to perform and you have to prove yourself. So that was the mentality I had, they spent a third pick in the draft for me, so I'm going to go in and just know that if it doesn't work out, it's not because of lack of work. So it was, from when I got drafted, I started, and my whole mentality was going in and busting it and earning that starting job, and that's the approach I took, and it was that way for 13 years. The thing you learn right away in the NFL is when you're young and you earn a starting job, you realize, okay, it's not secure because you're a young guy, you can make mistakes, but then as you get older and you've been starting now, you got to work even harder because you got young guys behind you trying to take your job. So, when I got drafted and went to camp, from the first snap I took, the first drill I did, I knew that I had to prove myself.
Did any of the veterans on that Bengals team do anything to you or make you do something like bring in donuts or, give you a funny haircut or anything, pretty much just because you were a rookie?
Oh, yeah, donuts. Once the season started, you make the team. Saturday morning, it's your job all season to bring donuts. Not only is the number one pick, but all the rookies are in charge of bringing donuts, milk, and orange juice, and they better be good donuts. Don't go buy a box of week-old donuts at some supermarket. You got to bring in some freshly baked bakery donuts and nice orange juice and milk, and bring enough for everybody. Don't bring, one carton of each where, guys can't have their milk and orange juice with it. And then, of course, during camp, all rookies had to sing at dinner. You were randomly chosen when you walk into the dining hall. You couldn't, and don't try to get in quick and eat and leave because you're going to get caught. So just accept that you're going to perform for the whole team. And then at the end of camp, all the rookies, we had to put a rookie show together, and it better be entertaining because the guys are going to let you know how they felt. The great thing about it is that nobody was off limits. You could make fun of anybody on the team, coaches, players, during the rookie show. So we had that as part of my rookie season. And of course, back in the days of film projectors, we didn't have the computers and DVDs and CDs. We as rookies had to carry the projector from our facility to the airplane, from the airplane to the hotel. So we had some responsibilities. It didn't matter if you were a number one pick or a free agent. We all had to share in the responsibilities.
That's great. Anthony, you were named the Offensive Lineman of the Year in the years of 1981, 87, and 88. Did you ever think that you would be considered one of the best to ever play the game of football?
I really didn't. Like I said, my goal was to make the team every year, to be a starter every year, and then, kind of the goals after that is, after you experience your first Pro Bowl in Hawaii, you want to be there every year. So, individual goals, which were secondary to team goals, playoffs, Super Bowls were always the primary goals, but never did I think, being one of the, considered one of the best or doing it. It was just always working to come in that next season and to help the team and to be a starter and to help the team.
You played in 2 Super Bowls in your career in 1981 and 88, and both times the Cincinnati Bengals fell short against the San Francisco 49ers. You grew up in California. Is there any chance you were a 49ers fan growing up?
No, they were up in San Francisco. I was down in the LA area. In fact, it was interesting because I was about 9 or 10 years old when I really became an NFL fan. And from 3rd grade to 8th grade, I played quarterback. And once I got into high school, that's when I became a lineman. So prior to high school, I was a quarterback fan. So guys like Roman Gabriel and Lenny Dawson and Bill Nelson and those guys. But I became strangely enough, I became a Kansas City Chiefs fan with Lenny Dawson. So at the age of 10, I became a Chiefs fan, so I knew the whole starting lineup. I mean, I could go right through and Dave Hill, Jim Tyre, Ed Rudney, or Ed Buddy, Jack Rudney, Arbanis, and then Lynch on defense, and Bell, and Buchanan, and Marcellus, and you just go on. And I was a big Kansas City Chiefs fan, and but I wasn't a 49ers fan.
All right, Anthony, you were an offensive tackle, and I see you had 7 receptions and 4 receiving touchdowns in your career. How the heck is that? Was there a play where the quarterback would say to you, Munoz, you're getting the ball, it's coming your way?
Well, first of all, I'd like to clarify, when they refer to football players, they always talk about skill guys and then the big guys. And I made that obvious early in my career. They used to post the weightlifting schedule up in our locker room, and they would always say, okay, skill players at this time, and then big guys. And I one day I crossed out and I put little skills and big skills. Make sure that they knew that linemen had skills too. So I did that, and it was just one of those things. When Sam Weiss became the head coach of our team, going into my 5th year, one of the things he did is we had a couple formations, short yardage goal line, where we brought in a couple extra linemen, and he ended up moving me from tackle to tight end on short yardage and goal line. And then all of a sudden, he started designing plays that allowed me to be, as a tight end, of course, you need some options, and designed me to be a receiver in certain plays. And after I caught my first one, he decided to continue it. And so Boomer ended up throwing me 4 touchdown passes, 7 catches. So it was one of those crazy things where Sam, with his innovative mind and everything he did with the offenses, the no huddle, the tack offense, and all that, he implemented where I became an eligible receiver and was able to catch some passes from my man Boomer.
Any touchdown celebrations come out of you, Anthony?
No, man, I don't know how to dance. I'm too big to, do any. So it was, you just celebrate with the other linemen. After I tried to spike the first one and I was rejected by one of my line mates who was giving me a hug, I figured I better not try that again. I might tear my shoulder up. But we just, it was one of those things that, when Paul Brown was here as a head coach and as an owner, he always said, when you score a touchdown, act like you've been there. So I tried to do that a little bit.
You guys are listening to Sportsman Radio. I'm your host, Chris Schanfeld, talking with Football Hall of Famer Anthony Munoz. Anthony, I hear it's a great honor to be noticed from your peers and fans around the NFL, and you were voted to the NFL Pro Bowl not once, not twice, not even 3 times, but 11 times you played in the NFL Pro Bowl. Did you ever get tired of playing in that game in Hawaii?
No, not at all. In fact, it was always a highlight. At least back when I was playing in the game, we played. I mean, we could say that we maybe not all 4 quarters got after it, but for the majority of the game, we got after it offensively and defensively. So it was a great time to go over and spend a little time with the family, relax a little bit, but also play a football game. So no, I never got tired of that.
Any chance you could suit up and maybe help out my Chicago Bears?
No, not. We're about probably 25 years too late on that.
Man, they need some help on that line. You decided to retire from the game in 1993, and really people. I mean, you decided to retire in 1993. I'm sorry about that, Anthony. And how did you know that you were ready to retire?
Well, I think there's several things that really kind of indicate that you're ready to move on. First of all, it becomes, at least for me, it became a job. I mean, I told myself when it really felt like I was going to work every day, and because I enjoyed practice, I enjoyed the practice reps, I enjoyed studying, and so that last year it felt like a job. Plus, then all of a sudden your body, your mind is saying, yeah, I can keep doing it, but your body, certain parts of your body are saying, no, I can't do it. And if my body felt like certain parts, and I would have continued, but there were some parts of my body, primarily my shoulders, that were saying, you know what, it's time to move on. You've abused them too much. Let's go. So there's certain things that indicate that it's time to move on and move into another area of life.
What advice would you give a guy like Tony Gonzalez, who's been in the league since 1997 and is still playing at a high level, and he's thinking about retiring?
You know what? Again, I know it's tough to retire because it's not like you can retire for 2-3 years and then come back and suit up again. It's one of those things that, and I didn't blame Brett Favre for trying to play as long as he could. I think because the window's so small, you got to play as long as you want. But if your body is telling you and you lose the love of the game, then you move on. But if your body's still performing at a high level, which he did this last year, and he still loves the game, I say keep going for it. I'm not the type of guy that says, or I don't have the philosophy of you've had a great career for 14, 15 years, and your last 2-3 years aren't that good. I mean, I still think you've set a great legacy. So, my advice would say, play as long as you want to play, and don't listen to what everybody else is saying.
In 1998, Anthony Munoz was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Congratulations on a great career, Anthony. One of the best to ever do it. What was it like to put on that jacket and to see your, a statue of your face right there in Canton, Ohio?
It is amazing. It's very humbling, but it was a thrill because, you're around all these guys. I mean, that first year, you got guys like Gale Sayers and Deacon Jones and Merlin Olsen, and, just go on and on. Guys that, you watch play. Forrest Gregg, who I played my first 4 years for here at Cincinnati, was my head coach. Vince Lombardi said he was the best player he ever coached. So you're around all these guys, and you're thinking, oh, my goodness, I'm in the same class with them now. As we say, we're on the same team now. We'll never be cut. We'll never be waived. We're on the same team forever. So it's quite an honor. I mean, I've been in 15 years, and still every summer when I drive up to Canton for Hall of Fame induction weekend, I got to pinch myself, and I feel like a little kid going up there. So it's quite an honor to be part of this group.
Anthony, it'll be hard to interview you without asking you what the heck happened to your finger, man.
Well, those type of things that happen when you play 13 years and close to 200 games, and I know people continually ask, why don't you get a fix? Why don't you get a fix? Well, first of all, it doesn't hurt, and I can still make a fist. If I got it fixed, it would remain straight, and I wouldn't be able to make a fist. So, I know it's not the best looking finger, but I'll keep going with it the way it is until I absolutely have to get it fixed. And if it starts hurting and the pain gets to the point where I can't handle it, right now it doesn't hurt, so I'm just going to leave it alone.
Hey, sounds great. If it isn't broken, don't fix it, right?
That's right.
Anthony, I want to talk a little bit about your foundation, the Anthony Munoz Foundation. But before we do, I want to ask you a few fun, quick questions I ask many of my guests that come on the show. Does that sound good?
That's great.
All right. What is Anthony Munoz's favorite TV show and movie?
Oh, TV show. I'd have to say probably my all-time favorite movie's got to be Shawshank Redemption. Favorite TV show. I don't watch a lot of shows, but I've gotten into some old shows that I never really watched when they first came out, and I'm pretty much the Mentalist and the NCIS fan here the last year.
All right. Anthony, you're an offensive lineman, so I know you like to eat. Who doesn't? So what is your favorite meal?
It's got to be some really, really good Mexican food. Growing up with my mom making homemade tortillas and cooking some pretty good food, my wife probably makes the best chicken enchiladas that I've had. So, yeah, as long as I can have a pretty good Mexican dish, I'm set.
I love it. I love it. You're on Twitter at Anthony Munoz, HOF. Why do you make it important to connect with your fans?
I think it's important. I use that a lot for promoting what we're doing with the foundation and a lot of different events, and it's good just to get feedback from fans. I've had a chance last year during the Bengals Steelers game to tweet during the game, and just to kind of connect with the fans and hear what they think about certain things having to do with the game and different issues and different events. So that's why an old guy like me finally getting on Twitter, my young staff and my young son kind of chuckle, but the good thing is I have them to kind of teach me and coach me through it. But it's been fun connecting with the fans.
If you can meet any famous person, who would that be?
Oh wow! Well, there's no question it'd have to be Jesus Christ. That would be my number one person meet in person. So that's where I am right now.
All right, and last but not least, what is something about Mr. Anthony Munoz that many people don't know?
Because I'm a prankster. I mean, I love to have fun. I love joking around. People see me as an intense, pretty serious guy, but I love to have fun. I like joking around and having some good pranks now and then.
All right, Anthony, you have your own charity. It's the Anthony Munoz Foundation, and you have a website for it at www.munozfoundation.com .org, I believe. Can you tell us more about the foundation?
Yeah, our mission statement is to engage the tri-state area, the Cincinnati area, northern Kentucky, southeast Indiana, to engage the tri-state area to impact youth mentally, physically, and spiritually. So we run a lot of programs. And mainly focus on leadership, character, and education. So we do everything from one-on-one mentoring with elementary school kids to overnight character camps where we take young men for 4 days, 3 nights, teach them a little football, but teach them a lot of character, a lot of team building. We have a couple of those camps. We have a leadership seminar where we take about 100 high schools at Xavier University here in Cincinnati, and we have motivational leadership speakers come in. We have breakout sessions that really focus on leadership, and then challenge these 1,200 to 1,400 high school students every year to go back out in the community and put together community service programs. And then with that, we give out 23 scholarships a year, from $2,000 to $5,000 one-time scholarships to $6,000 $20,000 scholarships every year. So we really try to impact young people in the community, and then we have a day camp that we hold the same week that we have our dinner and golf, which is usually the second week of June, that we have about 500 kids at a day camp. And again, we're teaching them football, but we really emphasize character and team building, and really more than just the athletic part of your life.
That's awesome. That really is cool. What made you want to start the Anthony Munoz Foundation?
Well, a lot of it comes from, how people poured into my life growing up in Southern California. My mom raised 5 of us by herself. We didn't have a whole lot of money. She worked 2-3 jobs to provide for us. So there was a need for organizations, for mentors in my life to really, keep me going in the right direction, keep me out of trouble, keep me really following and trying to accomplish a dream. And so from that, from mentors I had, from my mom, and from things I learned, I wanted to put together a group that we could do the same thing for a lot of at-risk individuals, and even for kids that just wanted some assistance in really accomplishing some dreams and goals. So that's really the motivation behind what I did.
Talking with NFL Hall of Famer Anthony Munoz on Sportsman Radio. Anthony, why give back? I know there's many celebrities and athletes that do give back to the community, like yourself, but I'm sure there are some that don't give back, and I really don't understand it, and that's why I admire you and why you give back to the community. So pretty much, just why? Why give back to the community?
Well, I take it seriously. I think it's a responsibility. To whom much is given, much is expected. And I mean, I've had so many blessings in my life, and people have given to me. So I think it's a responsibility, and really we have an opportunity to have an impact, by putting a team together and really going out and trying to do good for the community. So it's one of those things that I think that all of us have a responsibility, not only present-day athletes, former athletes, but business people. We all have a chance to impact people in a positive way, and it's just a matter if we're willing to use that platform.
And you are. You're doing great things, Anthony. I want to thank you for your time today. It was a true honor to have you on the show, but before I let you go, is there anything that you'd like to plug on the air for myself and our listeners?
No, Chris, I just appreciate the opportunity to reminisce, talk about my playing days, and, of course, talk a little bit about the foundation and the great team we've put together here in Cincinnati with our staff, interns, board members, and, of course, a big part of it is the community. With all we have probably over 100 corporate partners that really engaged, so we're thankful for that. But I appreciate just being able to talk about a variety of things.
Hey, it was an honor, Anthony. If you'd ever like to come back on the show, it'd be an honor to talk some NFL, or even if you want to, if you have anything else going on around the Anthony Munoz Foundation, just contact me or I'll contact you and we could do it.
All right, Chris, appreciate it. All right. Have a great day, and thanks for having me on.
It was a pleasure. Thanks, and take care, Anthony.
Okay, all righty.